Hello everyone. This here is Tracilyn, also known as VCAT, and I am at the front room where I might get kicked out a second time. Hot air balloon. I got an envelope, and in this envelope I'm going to share with you the details of what it reads is a situation that happened to me at this behavior unit just outside of Dayton, Ohio. I'll give the details later. I don't want to upset anybody here today, but on March 29th, 2017, I was checked in here because I went into the emergency room after witnessing what I have realized is electronic harassment. So I came here for a personal evaluation, and guess what? I got into an argument with the medical doctor, and I just got the report because he kicked me out. Yes, he kicked me out. I was seeking advice and help for things I was going through, and here's the door I came out.
Okay, whatever, my
there's the exit. So, I don't know exactly what the name of this place is. It's the Upper Valley Medical Behavior Unit. And I'm actually getting ready to go somewhere else that I can talk about it. You know me, I like to talk in quiet. I don't want to upset anybody, you know, if I get them in camera or something. Davida? What does that say? Dialysis? Center. I got the report here, and when I read the notes, I couldn't expect any different. The respect I got here, or can I say, put DIS in front of it, and you got it. All right, we'll be back to you. I'm gonna find like a park or somewhere quiet. The interstate's right up here. Look at this farm, or show this. I like to show myself things I like. Everybody here today was kind, by the way. It's the doctor I have a serious problem with, and you'll find out why. I'm gonna actually read you his report. There's a farm. Wouldn't it be fun to put on a concert at a place like that? When I was a teenager, it's something similar. Fit of Fun, Fit of Fear is what it originally was, and it went to Fit of Fun. Me and my junior high school band played a party inside, checkered room and stuff. It was fun. Okay, so anyway, we're off to find a quiet place to go where I can concentrate. I'm excited because this video here is in reference to what life has been like for me since getting my apartment in 2014. I have continuously been going through opposition, and I am realizing more and more that if people would have just told me what I needed to do, I could have took care of myself in my hometown, and I wouldn't have had to go through all of the headaches, homelessness, bouncing place to place, in and out of hospitals, if I would have just been educated properly. And when I reached out and I said I need help, instead of people saying we're not here to help people, I actually had people tell me that when I was busking. We don't help people who can't help themselves, as he smirked at me. And can I tell you, if you ever see this video and you cross paths with me again, I want you to walk up to my face and tell me that again. You won't be standing. Everybody, I want you to get a good look at this. I would not if you're a transsexual lady, especially, and you'll find out why. You do not want to check yourself in there for mental evaluation, and you're going to find out why. Maybe you were there and you had a different experience. Okay? I am looking forward to share this with you. This is the kind of stuff I have been going through for years because our country failed to educate us as we went through, actually, when we were forced to go through the school system. What do you think of that? Hold on a minute. Looks like we might have somewhere to go here. We're gonna turn around. I wanted to grab this sign because if you're in Dayton, Ohio and you need an attorney, I want to share this with you. It's very important that you listen up. It was recommended to me by a friend. There you go. See the tiger? There you go, that's it. Okay, if these people would have helped me and stuck with their... Can I tell you, if you ever get an estimate on what they can do to help you, make sure the numbers are in writing before they take your case. Okay? And you'll find out. Check out these size of the ones. You'll find out when I get to a nice quiet place. Nice church. Okay, because if these people would have stuck to their word, I would be packing up and leaving Ohio, or Dayton at least, you know, by the holidays. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go over here to a park. I want to talk to you and below. Okay, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. This here is Tracilyn, and I'm at my favorite park. Does that stage over there look familiar? It's blue on the other side. That is where I recorded For Those Too Weak to Stand. And I'm thinking of doing cold winter storm here. If we get nice snow this winter and I can make it here, I would love to do it during the snow. It'd be very pretty. I've been wanting to record that video since 2010. But because I have to do everything by myself for myself, and not one person would help me to figure out what I gotta do to get my personal needs met. Thank you, political figures. You're so kind to me when I went through your school system, and I was so smart to not even understand how do I get the help I need. You know, by the way, you don't want Trump Jr. in the presidential chair, ever. That's probably their plan, you know. That's why he's tugging on his daddy's pant leg today, and at the White House, most likely. Here we go. See the scenery? And to be honest with you, I just simply don't like that crammed down our throats through our whole life professional look. You know, is that it? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's something else that I don't even know. It's not human, in my opinion. Now, here's the thing. Check this out. I am disgusted, and what I did is I shared with you about, was it the tigers? The tigers are on our side. No, they're not. They might be on your side, but they weren't on my side. And let me share with you how and why that is. If you ever, and I mean ever, get them for attorneys for you, make sure you get their estimate. Do you ever go into attorneys and get an estimate of what they think they might be able to recuperate from the injuries that you received? Well, make sure it's in writing, because what I've learned is if a case takes over a year, right, the odds are they're going to change what was said originally in the conversation, even attorneys. I could have won a suit if I would have had a good attorney within that office or somewhere else, or defended myself. I could have won a settlement enough that I could have easily moved out of Dayton for the rest of my life. What do you think of that? 2010, I came back here after something happened in 2009, living at the place I was in Beaver Creek with the gentleman who invited me out. Things were not working out necessarily, and away I went. Eventually I came back here. All of this was happening because I did not know how to get my needs met. No one told, I'll tell you, if you are homeless and you are having to be an adult entertainer of some sort, a prostitute, an escort, okay? Instead of letting the law, right, be corrupted on you, because that's what they do. They set you up for false prostitution charges. And it goes above and beyond that. You make sure you go to a hospital and you tell them they have to diagnose you with something. You cannot take care of yourself in accordance to the way the United States laws have been made, and therefore you're considered disabled. Okay? Because humans just can't function in that. Not properly. And that's what happened to me. It took me years of being homeless, bouncing around place to place all over the United States of America. I slept with 1,001 men. That's right. Plus And why is that? Because I wasn't taught, how do I get my needs met? I was the guilty party. No, I wasn't. You'll find out I was never taught properly about personal identity. And then when I tried to get employment, everybody said, no, you can't work here because you don't look like Trump Jr. Okay? That's why. I look like Tracilyn, who looks a lot hotter in a schoolgirl outfit. Check it out on my website, Tracilyn.com. Now here's the thing. Check this out. This is not about Trump Jr. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. All right? To me, they're nothing more than a distraction from true things that people are really dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And it has been very, very difficult. 2010, I came out here again because I was in a mental institution in some point within 2008, 2009, should I say, 2009. And there was a lady who was about to help me, an assistant, a social worker, okay, because I was diagnosed with severe depression. Severe. And if you knew my circumstances, you would agree, wow, it's a miracle that Tracilyn is still here today. And let me tell you that if at any point somebody would have just given me a job that I could work to take care of myself instead of ending up homeless, living in hotels and bouncing around all over the place, hungry, the bottom line is I could have took care of myself. And there's a good chance, who knows where life would have turned out. I don't know where it would have turned out. I wasn't given a fair shake in life, if you so want to call it that. Okay, so I ended up coming out here because a gentleman who is in the LGBTQ community, okay, a cross-dresser, told me that the only way they could help me, which I realize today is BS. I would never tell you it's the only way I could help you. In fact, I would tell you wherever you are, hold still a minute and let's talk about this. Because there could be a good chance that all you need to do is go to a hospital, state your case, and tell them you need to be diagnosed properly so that you can get the Social Security disability plan that you need, so you have health insurance, so you can eat, so you can get housing, and all. You should be able to live on your own and take very good care of yourself, okay? That's your God-given right, whether the government wants to give it to you or not. Understand that. I'm telling you, tell the government Tracilyn said it. Okay? It's God's right for all human life. For all life, really. Unfortunately, when I start to talk, how you doing? Good. I do not. Okay. That's okay. When I talk like this, I like to be alone. Okay, so check this out. He's a very friendly person. Now here's the thing. I'm frustrated today, right? Yes, because you know why? Because it's 2018. We're going on 2019. I came out here because a person I called my daddy told me he was going to help me. And rather than us knowing exactly what to do, okay, I ended up going through a lot of BS. I was kicked out many times, invited back in because I didn't have anywhere else to go. Not my fault. And I am ready to argue that fact now that I am detailed-oriented mentally. Clear-minded. I understand it was never my fault. Now, with that being said, I want to show you something today to give you an idea of what I've been going through. And when it comes with the attorneys, I was recently in an accident, okay? 2 times since I came here to Ohio. Once somebody hit me on an off-ramp. I settled it with the insurance company. My neck, I had kind of like whiplash. I settled it with the automotive insurance company for what I thought was pretty reasonable. Technically, I should have got a lot more for it, but if I would have got a good attorney, that would have been. Because of the circumstances, in all honesty. Not being a smart butt, it's being honest. A good attorney would have been able to get me much more. Okay, I'm telling you, I settled with it. Why? My head was really messed up, and I had a lot of things happening to me because I was homeless, and I didn't know how to get my needs met. And you do not want to be stuck in a relationship with somebody who's taking care of every area of your life. That's what I've learned, because they'll go through power struggle with you. And the second you start living the life doing what you want in your heart, up this heart, they'll throw you out. Move. That was very kind, wasn't it? Yeah, it was very kind. Not. So here's the thing, check this out. Then I got involved in a second accident. Hit my neck. Same thing, at a Walmart parking lot, some lady rear-ended me, or backed right into my car, into the trunk of my car. Right, the rear bumper. As I was already out in an angle, she came across the parking lot. And her car was much bigger than mine. Smacked it, bam. There went my neck again. Okay? Now this time I said, I'm not gonna do this on my own. We're gonna go to the attorney. And the attorney told me a very attractive, actually it was their assistant, they're a tiger, a very attractive amount of finances. And I knew if I could get that, I could get my SRS, some people call it GRS, and I could also move where I want and give life a shot the right way. Unfortunately, a long time went by, and I had to keep at the lawyer and keep at the lawyer and keep at the lawyer, and we know how that goes, and I got not even, oh jeez, I'm lucky. I am lucky if it would be considered to be 10%. It wasn't even 10% of what they told me they would get for me. And let me tell you, after you go through all the things I did, and you'll see what I'm talking about here soon, you'll find out, you just get sick of people. Lawyers or whoever it is, you just get sick of people don't seem to care about nothing, okay? For that accident, I should have got it compensated fairly. Not to mention all the visits and all the pain and suffering and all of that I had to go through, okay? Thank goodness I had a great chiropractor. She helped me out tremendously. And nevertheless, then I hit this RTA sign with my head when I'm stepping off the parking lot to go into Kroger's. And they have it on film. Do you know that Kroger's, the manager, I spoke to the manager not once but twice. I spoke to a representative, not one of them said, I'm sorry this happened to you. Hey Kroger's, thank you. I'm not gonna stop shopping there, I have to. It's the only grocery store in my neighborhood. Thanks for being so kind to me, Kroger's. And RTA, thank you. I'm still gonna use the bus. I'm gonna be careful where I walk now in public streets in the city of Dayton. Why? Because they have the open and obvious law, right? Secretary of State, who at this point did not call me back after I called and left a message. I'm gonna be moving to Columbus most likely. Maybe we'll get to talk someday and I'll ask you why you never returned my phone call. Meanwhile, I have video to show you today of the road in front of the apartment that I live in. Not only do I have the road, I ought to take you on a tour of Dayton and show you where all the glass is all over the sidewalk in the streets, where all the trees are hanging over the sidewalks, where the sidewalks are all busted up and the concrete's lifting up and the roads have potholes all over them. When I first came out here and I lived in Huber Heights, I remember complaining online that I couldn't believe it added to my depression, severe depression. Why is that? Because I'm all about atmosphere. Really, I should be living in a tropical paradise. I love Dayton and I love Ohio. I've come to love it, but I had to go through a lot of mental abuse and warping to get to that point. Dayton, Ohio is a place that I came because I was desperately in need of somewhere safe to stay and I had to eat. And with the system, I was forced, right, under my circumstances still, to see to it that I was submitting to my obligation to pay my child support. He's out there. He's gonna be 18 in December, that's coming up. And guess what? I know you might not accept me as your mommy, but I wanna talk to you. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you say yes when I reach out to you and give me a chance. Off camera, of course, unless you wanna be on, but off camera. Meanwhile, the last years, I've been going through all kinds of mental healing, a lot of difficulties. And a lot of it is because of other people simply don't want to do their part in being kind to Tracilyn. Unfortunately, the lawsuit did not go through for that much, and with Ohio's open and obvious law, smacked my forehead, my neck flew back, right? Had to go to the chiropractor, going through my pain and stuff like that. And it really upset me when I called all the attorneys because I was upset about this. because I only stand just under 6'2". It's like 6'1 3/4. I shouldn't be walking down Kroger's sidewalk and smacking my head into an RTA sign. Adjust it, in my opinion. Now here's the thing, check this out. Another problem that I had as I was coming in and out of my transition, I should say coming in and out, as I was coming into my transition and coming out into the general public as female, okay? I realized it was an identity crisis I was having all my life. I've been like this ever since I was born. I identify more with the female species. I prefer to be identified as female. That psychologically is comforting to me. It might not be to you, and if it isn't, I understand, but then we just shouldn't be in a relationship together. Because I realize, just much like in scripture, you should only be surrounded by people who respect you and are for you, no matter who you are. If you identify as female, but you have a penis, can I tell you, if you're around people, if you're okay with it, you're okay with it. But if you're not, know that if they keep on identifying you as a body part, that takes some kind of oppressive state on your mind and your thought process. Everybody wants to be accepted for who they are in here, the mind. We're in a mental world. It's not just physical. It starts mentally. And we need to connect with people who have similar passions and interests, the mentality in our head. That should be the circle of people we're around, not based off of a body part. When we started our school system, we went by alphabetical letter, and the school district that we were told to go to, we were not grouped in alignment with our thought process, which is what should have been done to begin with. People together in a classroom with similar and like compatibilities and passions, groomed to become at a very early age so we could take care of ourselves instead of I'm homeless. Did you ever go out to LA and see a whole lot of people homeless on the beach? Why do you think that is? How about the school system failed to teach people how to take care of themselves, and in a time of crisis what exactly should be done? And when they say there's nothing to do for our homeless people, know this, it's BS. There's all kinds of things we can do to help homeless people. And just because somebody's homeless doesn't mean that they're any less than anyone else in the world. You might be surprised who ends up homeless for a season. While I was at my apartment, okay, and by the way, I laid in my bed in Huber Heights and I cried my eyes out. In fact, when I came to my daddy's house in Beaver Creek, Ohio, I was bedridden and I cried my eyes out. Cried my eyes out. I was terrified because the only place I ended up being was a place that I explained what happened upon arriving. Not to mention I was a little nervous because I realized when I was an adult entertainer that Satanists were stalking me. And then I woke up to this person chanting over top of me one night. Okay? I can't talk to cops because cops humiliate me. York, Pennsylvania, thank you. I mean, that's exactly what I needed, right? Humiliation during my time of homelessness, False charges took me there. Prostitution, claiming I took money for exchange for sex, which is BS. I never did that. That sent me in a downward spiral. I ended up out here in Ohio because I didn't have no one in my family or no friends, nobody to turn to, because my personal identity, identifying as female, was new to everyone and nobody knew how to deal with it, so they rejected me and said it was ways of Satan, and they don't agree with it. How could you not agree with it? It's right in front of your face. Hello? It's really me. So when I came out here, the second time around, it was because literally, I don't know what to do. And I realized I'm being stalked, okay? There's all kinds of crazy things happening. And then I came out and I was bedridden. If you watch on my YouTube channel, my videos, if they let them post it. By the way, thank you, YouTube, for blocking my YouTube content. Thank you for changing the view counts on my videos. I mean, that's always appreciated, right? Transgendered community and people who get bullied throughout their life. Isn't that friendly of Mr. and Mrs. YouTuber to have a social place where you post your videos of your life story and then they want to smolder it out? You know how many times they got bounced down? How many videos of mine were rejected for whatever flagging complaint. Nobody flagged them. I learned that it's people stalking me that I met in this lifetime down in Tennessee that has access to my online social media accounts. I finally, in 2014, understand this, I came out here in 2009, and it took me till 2014 to realize how I can get my needs met. Joyce Myers. I was a student of hers, by the way, and wow, 5 years to figure out how you can get your needs met? Yeah, over 5 years, and that's not including the years prior to 2009, which means approximately after FedEx let me go in 2008, after the holiday season, said can't have a full-time job. Thank you, FedEx. It was my first job as a female, and I appreciate the fact that I ended up homeless after you said I can't have a job full-time there. I don't know if I'm confused if I should be grateful for you or if I should be ticked off because now I'm homeless and I have to be an adult entertainer. I was going to move to Harrisburg if FedEx would have kept me, and then I was going to be getting involved in music ministry there. See, because one of the things I wanted to do is transition, and then I wanted to have a full-time job where I could survive off of, have my needs met, so that when I got home I could have my time to live my life. Unfortunately, that never worked out. And that's how I ended up out here. That's how I ended up an adult entertainer. And that's why you still hear me hot-headed today. I'm still a nice person. I'm still kind. I still love. I'm in love with God. I'm in love with myself. I'm in love with people in general. I've learned to focus on Jesus Christ's spirit, I should say. Not people, but the Christ in people. Okay? That's what I had to. Because that's how cruel a lot of people have been to me. All right? And you can say it was all me, and I will always say the opposite. I am one of the nicest people you would ever meet. Every time I reached out, it was like I was needy to everybody else. And people in the mainstream music industry could have made a huge difference in my life. They refused to do it. In fact, I'm telling you, they wanted me to die. Horrible. And I don't want to ever see any of their faces in front of me again that once stood in front of my face at any given time during my time of weakness. I am strong now. And I don't like being used as a resource during my times of weakness. If you want to use me in front of my face. And then I can take care of it better that way. Or do it on camera. Now check this out. While I was over here and I started being electronically harassed, I realized it was time. I talked to a really nice doctor. She reminded me of Dr. McGinn from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She was the first doctor I talked to, sexual doctor, that I spoke with about coming out as a transgendered woman. She's the very first doctor who prescribed me my hormones. And she gave me, surgery here. A truck shave. She did good. The scar was a little messed up here on either end. She did straighten it out. It still probably could have been a little touched up a little bit. What do you think? When I go like this, maybe you can see. Okay, it's a scar. She did wonderful. She straightened it out for me a second time, which I was very grateful for. That's the one. Dr. McGinn is the lady that I really, really, really wanted to give my SRS. GRS, some people call it. Unfortunately, I never got it. And I don't know, unfortunately our relationship kind of ended mainly because I was really disturbed and it was hard for her to deal with me, so I had to go to another doctor and stuff. She kind of didn't want to see me after, some circumstances happened. Understood. So anyway, with that being said, I would have to be informed about GRS, SRS, and where it's at today. I really want to learn more about it. I really do identify as female, and I was really hoping that I could go through my whole transition, and I was hoping I could share the experience with other people who would love me. Unfortunately, I ended up very much alone, and she's the one who also cautioned me, you don't want to be alone, you need an emotional support group. She's right. You need a support group. We all do, no matter who we are. Now, here's the thing. Check this out. With that being said, I'm going through life pretty much alone. I got my apartment where I'm at, I would say about 15-20 minutes that way, which would be approximately northwest of the center city of Dayton. The problem with Dayton is that it's like a 40 or 50 mile radius that they consider it still be Dayton, and it's not. There's no city in the world that's that big, okay? Except for Dayton. So there's a whole lot of little jurisdictions and stuff throughout it, and it can be quite confusing when you're here. I lived in Huber Heights, for instance, and not only was that Huber Heights, it was also considered Dayton. They didn't care. There's lack of concern as to where am I living? Am I living in Dayton or am I living in Huber Heights? I mean, come on, give me a break. Call it one or the other. Don't call it two different names. Make a declaration and stick with it. All right, because to an outsider, it's confusing. I went with Dayton because why? Because I figured that, I would go with a bigger city just like anyone else at the time. So when people would ask me, I say I live in Dayton, but if you're familiar with Huber Heights, it's in Huber Heights. That's where I live at. I had a problem living there. It's called I'm youthful, I'm young, I have passions, I have desires. I wanted to live in a vibrant city, and I gotta be honest, I hate the cold. I can't stand it. I never could. One of my biggest things is that I wanted in my life was to move to a hotter climate. I couldn't get most of the things I desired in my life, I couldn't get hardly any of them. Do you know when I started to get it? When I started telling people to F off, and I just started doing things myself. I'm doing it, period. Done and over with. I'll have to do it right here, and that's what happened. I finally, in 2014, figured out how I'm gonna get my means met. This is after I talked to Kim Rosenberg for years, crying to her every time I went in there, paying her a lot of money for the 45 minutes I was in her presence. I had to sleep with people to get that for her. And she couldn't tell me what was necessary for me to do so I can get away from having to be an escort. Some people think I wanted to be an escort. Maybe part-time once in a while, but let's be honest, I don't know anybody that I met that wants to live like that full-time all the time. Especially when you find out how corrupted the police are to adult entertainers and how they target them and set them up, framing them, making their life a whole lot worse. Thank you, officers who do that. Why don't you do it when the camera's on so everybody can see what you're really doing? God's watching very closely via satellite. I finally got an apartment, and I'm gonna share with you about that apartment when I get back home. I love the apartment, and it would have been great if it would be here in the city because I should have been living in the city that's more my personality type and because of my circumstances, but instead I had to move out of the city, and you'll find out that what? My circumstances say, by choice, if I would have had anywhere else safe to go, I would have chose it. I had to take this apartment because there was nothing else for me to, I was kicked out again. I had to take something now, immediately. Thank you, Zot. I appreciate the kindness. There's somebody boating. See that? Very much, I love the river. So here's the thing. I love Dayton. Where I live is okay. The people are nice. The management is very nice. We had some issues when I first started out, and I'll discuss a little bit about that. But here's the thing. The thought of being stuck there freaks me. I don't want to be kicked out. I don't want to have to move. I want to move into a safe home where I want to live. I don't like living there. If you were to ask me, do you like living where you do? I would say no. It works for me. It works. I don't want to just be pushed somewhere else. But since I've been homeless and I lost my home, or started to lose my home in 2008, 2007, I lost my home in 2009. But it was a trickling down process for quite a few years before that. I knew it was starting to come that way. Can I tell you that I lost a whole lot more than my home when I didn't know how to get my needs met because of Kim, because of our system, because the government doesn't seem to me to care about anybody. When you're going through stuff, you start to feel that way. You start to acknowledge it. For instance, when you get a food card for $15 a month, and let's face it, when you go for groceries, I want to see you live for $15 a month. You're not going to be able to do it. And we're talking about the details of that, the kindness the system is offering to the people. Okay? By the way, my name is Tracilyn and I'm a heck of a songwriter. And I could do live performances doing one show, making more finances than a lot of people, if not a majority of people, making a year. If the details were right. But that would require teamwork and people not being so darn selfish in the music industry. Here we go, we got 4 minutes left. Wow, we used this up. We need to move forward because now you're gonna find out something that I just found out and I'm really upset and I wanna talk to Donald Trump to fucking see that this gosh darn person is fired. I want him fired, Donald Trump. This doctor who was very cruel to me and he has a job. I don't.